History has painted her with a single brushstroke. The villain, the seductress, the calculating American divorcee who bewitched a king and broke an empire. Wallis Simpson. Her name is synonymous with the greatest royal scandal of the 20th century. But what if the story we all know is a carefully constructed facade? What if the woman at the center of the storm wasn't the predator, but the prey? And what if her greatest secret wasn't her ambition for a crown, but her desperate plan to escape the man who was offering it? When Wallis Simpson met Edward, the Prince of Wales, she was a married woman. Not a widow, not a single adventurer, but the wife of Ernest Simpson, a quiet, intelligent shipping executive. Theirs was a life of sophisticated, upper-middle-class comfort in London. A life of dinner parties, respectable friends, and mutual partnership. Ernest was her anchor, her safe harbor. Then the prince entered their lives. And he wasn't just a guest, he was a hurricane. Edward became utterly slavishly obsessed with Wallis. He showered her with jewels, with exotic trips, with all the glittering baubles of his royal world. But he also showered her with a suffocating, possessive devotion. He would call her multiple times an hour. He would fly into jealous rages. He demanded every moment of her time, isolating her from her friends and, most importantly, from her husband. The world saw a woman stealing a king. But behind closed doors, a very different drama was unfolding. While Edward was pulling Wallis deeper into the gilded cage of his obsession, she was secretly, desperately, trying to hold on to the life she already had. She was playing a double game. We know this because of letters. Secret letters. Letters she wrote to her husband, Ernest, throughout the height of her affair with the king. These letters, discovered long after her death, paint a devastating picture. They are not the words of a woman drunk on power. They are the words of a woman who is trapped. In her elegant script, she writes to Ernest, calling Edward Peter Pan, a boy who would never grow up. She expresses her deep anxiety, her loneliness, her fear of the future he is forcing upon her. She complains about the jail of royal life at Fort Belvedere, Edward's private retreat. And then there's the most damning evidence of all. Even as the abdication crisis loomed, even as the King of England was preparing to sacrifice his throne for her, Wallis Simpson was still intimately involved with her husband. She wasn't just writing letters. She was meeting him. They were still lovers. This wasn't a clean break. It wasn't an old life left behind for a new one. It was a chaotic, terrifying tightrope walk. On one side was Ernest's familiarity, stability, and a love she understood. On the other was Edward, a dazzling, unstable, and overwhelming force of nature, who was offering her a world she wasn't sure she wanted. She tried to end it. She begged Edward to let her go. She even orchestrated her escape to the south of France when the scandal broke, hoping that distance would cool his ardor. She wrote to him, pleading that the role of queen was one she was not qualified to fill. But she had underestimated his obsession. He refused to listen. He saw her pleas not as a genuine desire to leave, but as a test of his love. And he was determined to pass it. He would give up anything: his family, his duty, his empire, to prove he was worthy of her. He was answering a question she had never truly asked. Imagine her state of mind. Trapped in a villa in Cannes, hounded by the world's press, her every move scrutinized. The man she was trying to leave was on the phone, telling her he was about to detonate his own life and hers along with it. And her husband, the man she was secretly trying to return to, was being forced by the sheer force of the scandal to file for divorce. Every escape route was being cut off. On December 11, 1936, Edward gave his famous abdication speech, telling the world he could not be king without the help and support of the woman I love. For the world, it was the climax of a great romance. For Wallis Simpson, listening on a radio hundreds of miles away, it must have sounded like the closing of a prison door. She had won a prize she never sought, and in doing so, had lost the one man she may have truly wanted to keep. "I miss you and worry about you," she said. So was Wallis Simpson the architect of the crisis? Or was she its first casualty? A woman whose life was hijacked by a king's reckless obsession? Perhaps the greatest secret of the abdication is that a king gave up a throne for a woman. but that the woman may have never truly wanted him to.